guys. Good morning. Hello. Hi. Buongiorno. You know, I didn't realize I was wearing a shirt that blends in with my curtain today. I didn't realize that. Maybe it looks goofy, but I mean, whatever. I didn't think about it. I'm not going to change my shirt. What's up with the chat? Why is the chat not... Oh, I don't like that at all. I hope the chat... It's saying that my chat's screwed up. Somebody say something in the chat if you can, so I know that you're there. Here, I guess I could do it. Test. All right, I think I'm there. All right, I think we're good. Cool. It's probably because I just logged on. And according to the YouTube, nobody has logged in yet. So there's that. That's my cue to take a sip of coffee. Hope everybody is well. We are a little early. So I apologize for that. I mean, I don't apologize. I mean, early is good. Early's pretty awesome, actually. The full committee is deliberating on the net neutrality bill as we speak. Oh, maybe we can't chat. Because now it's saying there's 23 people and no one said anything. I wonder if the chat screwed up. Here, let me hit refresh and see if that fixes the problem. So if anyone said anything to me, I've not been able to see it. Oh, wow, here we go. Geesh. Oh, here. All right. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Mr. Brokenhaz. Hi, Nathaniel. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, DLJ. Hi, Joshua. Hello. Hi, Nathaniel. Hi, Karen. Hi, Osito. Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Joshua. Hi, Magnetic. Hi, Aiden. Hi, Scripts for Clips. Hi, Edwin. What's up, Steve? See you soon. What's up, Jaybird? What's up, Karen? We're at 41. What's up, Justine? What's up, Constantine? All right. All right, that was so weird. The chat wasn't showing up, but then I hit refresh, and it just showed up. It was just like nothing, and then I hit test, and then... All right, whatever. You guys don't need an explanation. I'm wearing a shirt that matches my drape. Or my curtain. Not drape. You know what I mean. Look at this. I didn't even realize that. Like, it didn't dawn on me. I just put this shirt on and woke up, threw this shirt on. But now it's like, I mean, if you look real closely, it looks like I'm just a head with arms and no body. So that'll be fun. I think that'll be interesting today. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I am Ron Placone, your host. We have a lot to talk about today because you guys sent in a lot of cool stuff. I want to get to everything. First of all, I got to mention, as we are streaming, the Save the Net bill is in the full committee. Literally, as we're streaming, it's in the full committee. I don't think we're going to have an update before the stream is over, so we will have an update tomorrow. We will definitely be talking about it because we'll know the result of that vote. You know what needs to happen based on our last video? It goes to the full committee. Then after it hits the full committee, it will go to the House. This is the Save the Net bill that restores net neutrality. This is a very important bill. A clean bill passed the first subcommittee, so we need a clean bill to pass this full committee. Now, what I mean by clean bill is that it's not compromised. And how is it compromised? Well, if we don't have Title II protection, we don't have net neutrality. Period. No Title II, no net neutrality. End of story. So that's going on literally right now. We're not going to have a create. Let me see if any of you guys, if anyone has like a super, super breaking update, say something in the chat. And people try to make sure that I'll get to it. So let me know. But there's a good chance we're not going to know anything further before this stream is over. It's really, like, it's literally going on right now. Like, right now, they're in there, they're deliberating, and they could be, the last thing I saw on Twitter, they could be deliberating for a super long time. But, yeah, you know. Oh, today's the 3rd. Shit. Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Somebody mentioned I did the wrong date. You know what happened is we didn't have a show yesterday. So Yeah, that threw me off. We didn't have a show yesterday because I guest hosted Aggressive Progressive, which, by the way, shout out to everyone who caught that show, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Joseph is keeping an eye on that committee in real time. He'll give us an update if something happens. That's awesome. Very cool. Tim, you rocked on Nico yesterday. Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate that very much. That was a fun stream. It was just me, Nico, and Pasta doing a nice, fun afternoon stream, talking about, just talking about the world, talking about 2020, talking about what we've experienced this past weekend, because this was a big weekend in California. Tulsi Gabbard was in town. A lot of the candidates were doing a lot of stuff. So we had a fun conversation, and I'm glad you guys caught it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I had a really fun time on that stream. Pasta and Nico, they're great folks to collaborate with. I don't know why Nico doesn't live here, by the way. I mean, we could do that all the time. I mean, I guess me, Pasta, and Fee could do it all the time anyway. They just don't invite me. But, I mean, if Nico lived in the area, we could do stuff like that all the time. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't. I don't know why Nico House doesn't live in Southern California. I suppose I could just ask him multiple times. I could just ask him right now. I could text him right now. The stream wants to know, why don't you just live in Los Angeles? Here, you know what? I'm going to text him, and then I'll let you know if he responds in real time. Here. All right. Hold that thought. One moment, please. I will be right back. All right, here we go. I'm back. So let's go. I'm texting Nico House. Why don't you just live in L.A. area? And I'll say area because technically I live in Pasadena. So I don't know why he doesn't just live there. So I'm just going to ask him. We'll see what he says. This is real time. This is real time information. So this is Get Your News On with Ron. We literally get our news on together. Today's headline, why doesn't Nico House live in the Los Angeles area? You know, it's a good question. It's a good question. Why doesn't he do that? Oh, and by the way, I'm actually wearing gym shorts and a bathing suit because I might be going to the gym right after this, and I think I'm going to swim. No, that was actually not underwear. That was a bathing suit. All right, guys, we have a lot to get through, so let's get to it. We'll see if Nico answers the question. But here we go. Oh man, we'll start with 2020. We'll start with 2020. And here's something. So all the 2020 Dems are auditioning for Al Sharpton's support. The leading Democratic candidates for president will be auditioning before Reverend Al Sharpton and his National Action Network this week, a testament to both the importance of the black vote and Sharpton's increasingly mainstream image. The four-day convention, which begins in New York on Wednesday, includes Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Kristen Gillibrand, Amy Klobuchar. Don't you get tired after you say those names? I mean, after Bernie Sanders, I just get sleepy. Beto O'Rourke, ugh, boy. John Hickenlooper. Why isn't former Vice President Joe Biden is not scheduled to appear? Why isn't Tulsi on that list? Why do they try to not include her from every 2020? We know why. We know why. But, yeah. So, Tulsi's not on the list. But I thought Hickenlooper was done. I thought after his, hey, who hasn't taken their mom to a porno movie? I thought after that, he was done. That, combined with the fact that he stands for absolutely nothing. He's not even for federal legalization of pot, even though he has pot in his state. He has pot in Colorado. He's seen the benefits of it. That's why he's evolved a little bit on the topic. When I made that video about him, some people commented, they're like, no, you're wrong about him. Pot's legal in Colorado. Yeah. He wasn't for it, though. He said the states should decide. That's why he went along. And now that he sees the benefit of it, he's evolved on it a little bit, but he still doesn't favor it federally. But anyway, I don't know how that dude's still going. And I want to see all the Dem candidates audition for American Idol. That's what I want to see. They can audition for Al Sharpton if they want to. That's their choice. That's fine. But what I really want to see, I want to see American Idol. I want to see them all go up there and just do something. Amy Klobuchar can just throw a stapler at somebody. She'll point to an audience member, kind of like how a baseball player will point to where they're going to hit the ball. She points to an audience member, chucks the stapler. If she hits them, well, I guess she advances to the next round. Beto O'Rourke can jump up on a table and play punk rock bass. That's what he can do. He'll jump up on a table and play punk rock bass while saying, a bunch of platitudes. Kamala Harris can take the 1995 Casio keyboard that she made her campaign announcement video with, and she can hit the go button, and it'll go da 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 da, and then she'll just give a word salad about absolutely nothing and talk about how much she loves putting people in prison. It'll be like a poem. It'll be something like that. Who else was on this list of terrible candidates? Cory Booker. What can he do? What can Cory Booker do? What talents does Cory Booker have? He can have crocodile tears on command. He'll have crocodile tears for some, surface-oriented, high-sugar fluff issue that has nothing to do with anything, and he'll cry about it and do a dramatic monologue. That'll be cool. Kirsten Gillibrand, she'll just have a meeting with Wall Street where they'll do a choreographed dance, kind of like Broadway, but it's going to be like, give my regards to Wall Street. That's what she'll do. Pete Buttigieg, what'll he do? I don't know what he'll do. I don't. That guy is not for Medicare for all. He's not for a lot of stuff, so he's not for me. But I don't know. He's from Indiana. I went to college in Indiana. What he'll do is he'll do a one-man reenactment of the TV show Parks and Rec. Also took place in Indiana. And finally, John Hickenlooper. Of course, he'll tell a really creepy story about taking his mom to a porn. And he'll, he has this really bizarre erotic fiction that appeals to nobody. That'll be what he does. And let's see, last but not least on this list for the American Idol audition, we have Bernie Sanders. And you know what? This is my hypothetical, so Tulsi Gabbard is going to be in there too. Tulsi Gabbard's going to sing a lovely duet with her husband. She's done that before. Bernie Sanders, going to revive that folk career. And, and at the end, they'll both mention, by the way, we're the only two legitimate candidates on this list, just so you know. Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren, since she's Native American, she will do some sand art or something similar. Some type of native art project, since she's Native American after all. There you go. That's what I want to see. I want to see them audition there. But they're not. They're auditioning for Al Sharpton's support. I wonder who he's going to go with. I hope it's Bernie Sanders, since Tulsi Gabbard's not even on that list, so I hope it's Bernie Sanders. I guess we'll find out. And we'll see if they audition for American Idol too. We'll see. All right. So we'll stay on 2020 for a little bit. Here is an epic Bernie Sanders piece that's really, really making the news. This is from Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. They're doing what they can to help. Bernie Sanders has emerged as the Donald Trump of the left. Well, what does that mean? I mean, what do they mean by that exactly? Do they mean that he has a movement surrounding him? I guess that is technically something they have in common. Do they mean that despite the establishment being against them, they're making strides anyway? They do have that in common. The GOP establishment didn't want Donald Trump to be the person, but he was. They threw everything they could at Donald Trump, but he won anyway. They do have that in common. Bernie Sanders is in that position because he actually has policies that would help people. Donald Trump's in that position because he's a liar and ran on this fake right-wing populist idea that is and was and still is a lie, but people bought it because they're desperate. So, but anyway, let's go to this article. I'm sure it's meant as an insult to Bernie Sanders, and of course it is. I've already skimmed some of it. Here we go. Bernie Sanders has emerged as the Donald Trump of the left. This is an opinion piece from Dana Milbank, who, by the way, has been defending this piece a bunch on Twitter. You wrote a great piece when right after you publish it, you spend your time having to defend, different parts about it. Actually, I guess in some cases that might mean you did write a great piece, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is not one of them. In politics, as in physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. Hence, Bernie Sanders emerged as the Donald Trump of the left. All right. Fundraising and polls show that many Democrats think the best answer to an angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and flair for demagoguery is, well, another angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and flair for demagoguery. So this is all just surface-oriented hijacking of identity politics. There is nothing of substance here. This paragraph has nothing of substance. The fact that a major outlet published this, if this was a humor piece or a satirical piece in The Onion, that'd be fine. If this was a comedic memoir, like if this was something like Al Franken used to do before he got into office and decided he knew more than the voters in his state did, and he was doing pretty cool books, actually. I liked some of his older books. And I liked a lot of his comedic work as well, actually. But if this was that, that's fine. But this is an actual opinion piece in a newspaper. And right now, the data supporting this claim that Bernie Sanders is the Donald Trump of the left is the observation that they are both white. They have crazy hair, according to this person. Which, I mean, let's look at Dana's hair. Let's, if you're going to criticize their appearance, let's look at... All right. Well, that's pretty subtle hair, in fairness. Dana has very reserved hair. So in fairness to you, Dana, that's very reserved hair. But, if somebody is a little more fluid in their hair, I don't know why you got to be Judgy McJudgerson. All right. So it's not difficult to picture a scenario in which Bernie Sanders captures the Democratic presidential nomination with the same formula that worked for Trump with Republicans in 2016. What is that? You mean appealing to people? Donald Trump appealed to people. It was a lie. They got duped. But he was a good liar. He still is a good liar. That's what Donald Trump made a career out of. I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, it's an outsider candidate during an outsider time. So by that, but this person just wants to throw an insult at Bernie Sanders. That's all this person's trying to do. That's all Dana's trying to do. Reserved hair Dana. It's a white guy with crazy hair and a New York accent. First of all, I don't really hear I guess I hear a little bit of a New York accent with Trump. More with Bernie, I'd say. But again, none of this matters. All right, so let's see if there's anything slightly less surface-oriented in this article. I doubt there is. But let's see. This is Get Your News On with Ron. We're exploring it all together. So here we go. On paper, the independent from Vermont doesn't make much sense. Why is that? Democrats are a party of youth. Actually, more young people are fleeing both parties. More young people are fleeing both parties and identifying as independents more so than ever before. That's just true. More young people are fleeing the two-party system. And they're going independent. So, but okay, the Democrats are a party of youth, and he's 77. Why aren't you pointing out the fact that Nancy Pelosi is the same age? She's the leader, so does she not make much sense either? They are majority female, and he's a man. Okay, well then why should no men at all be running? Why aren't you writing this same piece about Beto O'Rourke, or Cory Booker, or Joe Biden? By the way, who is also an old white guy. Why aren't you writing this piece about them? I guess because they're unpopular compared to Bernie Sanders. Why does Bernie Sanders have so many young people that support him? Why does Bernie Sanders have women and people of color who support him? Maybe it's more about policy. All right, but let's get back to this article. So far, everything has been about just surface-oriented things. Bernie's age, the fact that Bernie is a man, the fact that Bernie's an old white guy. That's all. Everything. It has taken this person about 3 paragraphs to say, Bernie's an old white guy. Bernie's an old white guy. Oh, from New York. I'm sorry, from New York. Bernie's an old white guy from New York. Hey, Democrats are young, which by the way, I'd like to see the receipts on that. More young people are fleeing the two-party system. And more young people are connecting with the Bernie Sanders. They're connecting with real ideas. All right, but let's get back to this stupid article. So far, this person said, but doesn't point this out about any of them. An NBC News poll this week found out that there are more voters with concerns about Sanders than there are for former Vice President Joe Biden. But he doesn't point out that Joe Biden's an old white guy. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Kamala Harris, or former Representative Beto O'Rourke, also white guy. Doesn't point that out about them. Yet Sanders has both money and movement. Why does he have money? He doesn't take any corporate PAC money. His money are all from small contributors and individuals. Why does he have money? Could it be because people like him? Could it be because he's popular? All right, so now they're talking about the money that he raised. Meanwhile, Sanders himself remains untouchable in a Trumpian way. Claims of mistreatment by male staffers from women who worked on his 2016 campaign? Yawn. No, actually, he responded to that, and as a result, he said there will be no tolerance for that, and his staff has unionized, and it's actually, to my knowledge, the first presidential staff to do that, or candidate staff to do that, and it received little press for doing so, and he encouraged it. So they have a union protecting them now. Does Amy Klobuchar's staff have that? Does Kamala Harris's? Does Beto O'Rourke's? They unionized. So no, they did respond to that. I guess that's a yawn to you though, Dana. I guess you're not a big fan of unions with that reserved hair of yours. All right. His resistance to releasing his tax returns, whatever. Whatever, because what are people going to see? He's been a public servant for over 30 years. What do you think you're going to see there? What are you going to see there, Dana? Why don't you say why you want to see them? Maybe because if you do, you're going to sound like just a conspiratorial smear merchant, which is essentially what you're being, but you're trying to be subtle about it because you have very reserved hair. All right. Sanders isn't Trump in the race-baiting, lender-cheating, fact-avoiding, porn actress-paying, Putin-loving sense, but their styles are similar. Their styles are similar. Shouting and unsmiling. What the hell does that mean? So they have passion when they speak. They actually speak with conviction. Trump speaks with conviction when he's demeaning other people and inflating himself. Bernie speaks with conviction when he talks about his ideas. He says, not me, us. And you know something about Bernie Sanders? He's far from perfect. There are real criticisms to be had about Bernie Sanders. He's not a perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect candidate. But this is not a valid criticism. It's a shame that we have a corporate media where one spends more time debunking non-valid, invalid criticisms of a politician than exploring valid criticisms of a politician. what is that saying about our corporate media, other than that it's corrupt beyond recognition and shouldn't even be legal? Because it shouldn't. Our media structure should not be legal. There should be laws protecting consumers from something like this from ever happening. And that's why when it comes to the press freedom ranking, we barely rank in the top 50. We're barely in the top 50. Land of the free, like, oh, well, it's better than the state getting involved, the media structure we have. Really? That's why we're barely in the top 50. And look at how whistleblowers are treated. Chelsea Manning, still in solitary confinement. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange. The way we treat whistleblowers, that shouts press freedom. It sure does. But let's clutch our pearls when a White House press secretary tells everybody to turn their cameras off, and they say, yes, ma'am. They say, of course we'll turn our cameras off because we want access, and we're spineless. All right, let's look at this dumb article. All right, so they both talk with conviction. That's and I guess they're the first two politicians ever in the history of politics to speak with conviction. Most politicians just are like, nah, that's how you get elected, right? You talk poorly. No, most politicians can speak well. Some can't. They typically lose. Hillary Clinton, every time she speaks, her numbers go down. Guess what she did? She lost to arguably the most beatable candidate in the history of American politics. The two most beatable candidates ran against each other in 2016. And we deserve better. 2016 should never have happened. No democratic experiment deserved two choices so utterly repulsive. Yet it was shoved down our throats. And the people who said we deserve better were shamed and ridiculed. And it might repeat itself for 2020. It might repeat itself. So, let's see. Anti-establishment and anti-media. Well, anti-establishment, all the anti-establishment candidates, that's what people want right now. You know who else is anti-establishment? The country. The country is sick of the Beltway. They're sick of politics as usual. They're sick of the duopoly. They're sick of it. This is an anti-establishment era. It's not unique to Trump or Bernie. It's unique to the populace. So by this logic, this anti-establishment logic, everybody is the Trump of whatever they are. Pretty much every voter. You're the Trump of the middle. You're the Trump of the right. You're the Trump of the left. You're the Trump of the Trump. You're the Trump. Because it's an anti-establishment time, Dana. Despite what goes on in your corporate media circles, despite how many reserved haircuts you walk by in the Beltway, it's an anti-establishment time. That's the time we're living in. That's not unique to Bernie or Trump. All right, so what's this other thing? Anti-media, well, trust in the media is at an all-time low. It continues to decline. People are fleeing cable news like the Titanic. The media has failed miserably time and time again. People are sick of it. People want actual news. That's why some people watch a comedian stream on YouTube and get his news in real time. Because that's better than just going through the muck of the drivel that corporate media spews out on a daily basis. All right. Sanders supporters hope he'll fight Trump's fire with fire, refusing to be conciliatory the way Biden and O'Rourke are, or be goaded by Trump the way Warren was into taking a DNA test. Maybe answering belligerents with belligerents will work. Trump-era predictions are worthless. I agree with this part. Trump-era predictions are worthless. I think that's a fair point. All right. Okay. So, cool. So far, this entire article could have been like 4 sentences. So far, this entire article could have been, hey, Bernie's an old white guy, and he's from New York, and I don't like his hair. So I don't think he's a good candidate because of all those things that don't matter. But he also speaks loudly. Trump does that too. So I guess they're the same. But it's tough to make predictions. That could have been this article so far. And what this writer did in 4 paragraphs. I spent Monday, so this is this is Dana talking. I spent Monday at a cattle call for 8 Democratic presidential candidates hosted by labor unions, the Sierra Club, Planned Parenthood, and other progressive groups. Sanders was easily the least charismatic, hoisting his trousers by the waist, tugging at his socks, hunching over the lectern, sitting stiffly and awkwardly greeting questioners. All physical. Every single thing. This is an ageist article, by the way. He's nitpicking at every physical thing Bernie Sanders did. Probably because he was watching Sanders the most intently because he wanted to write this smear piece. This is ageism. Oh, he hoisted his trousers. He doesn't have the greatest posture in the world. He's in his 70s. He's in his 70s and he maintains his schedule. By the way, I'm a comedian. I used to be a full-time road comic. I traveled 45 weeks a year. I don't know how Sanders keeps his fucking schedule. I don't know. And I'm a lot younger than 77. A lot younger. I don't know how Sanders keeps that freaking schedule. And I used to live in a car. And Sanders does that in his freaking 70s. All of his arguments for least charismatic. He doesn't mention what any of the candidates talk about, by the way. He just attacks the way Sanders' socks were, the way he hoisted his pants. Imagine if this same article was written about Amy Klobuchar or Kamala or even Beto O'Rourke. Imagine if it was written by them like, oh, she hoisted her blouse at some point. She bent over to fix a sock. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? This is ageism. That's all this is. This is just an ageist smear piece. And it's just a clickbaity headline. Oh, Bernie Sanders is the Trump of the left. Let's tune in for this mental gymnastics. Do you have a good relationship with your parents, Dana? Because I'd imagine they're probably around Bernie's age. How would you like it if somebody wrote this type of article about them? I recently lost my grandmother. She was 101 years old, had a hell of a run. She did some physically quirky things because of her age. So someone should write an article about that? And I'm not comparing Bernie to a 101-year-old. He's very far from it, but you see the point. Like, what makes you think this is insightful at all? I mean, this is just gross. He wrote a paragraph above that actually had a couple points that made sense. And then he completely just shattered it with the dumbest, just ageist cruelty. Like, that was just mean. Why are you looking at the guy's waistline so much, Dana? Why is that what you were paying attention to when you were at an event to hear a bunch of presidential candidates share their ideas? Maybe because only one of them actually has ideas, and it's the one you don't like. And actually, 2 of them have ideas, but one of them wasn't even invited to this event. The fact that the Washington Post published this is disgusting. And that's what you get when you have a paper owned by a real-life Lex Luthor, who is Jeff Bezos, who has deals with the CIA. Do you not look at this and think, the American people deserve better than this? You know when other people come to this country, they look around, they're like, you guys don't do news here. Like, you don't have it. And they're right. I used to say our media structure is toxic. Now I go a step further and I'm like, we don't have a media structure. Because we don't. We don't. We literally don't have one. So whenever someone says there's a problem with the news media in the United States, you say, yeah, there's a big problem. We don't have one. We have a corporate giveaway. We just have a bunch of corporations posing as news agencies. That's what we have. We literally do not have a news structure. So, I mean, do we need to go further with this? This article sucks ass. But the reception among liberal activists, which has ranged from tepid, Kristen Gillibrand, to enthusiastic, was for Sanders rapturous. Why do you think that is, Dana? Why do you think that is? He simplified and blamed, the crisis that we are facing today is not complicated. We have a government that ignores the needs of the working people. He's right, yet works overtime for wealthy campaign contributors in the 1%. He's right. He mocked those who question his ideas, such as Medicare for all. How did he mock them? How did he mock them, Dana? You mean he disagreed with them? You mean he disagreed with them because his policy is Medicare for all? That's how he mocked them? Or he pointed out the truth that every study has indicated that Medicare for all is cheaper than what we currently do? Even one backed by the Koch brothers? I have a feeling that's what he said. Dana saw that as mocking. He channeled rage at the vulgarity of a grotesque and corrupt system, the absolute hypocrisy of Republicans, corporations that lie, and billionaires who buy elections. Why are all these in quotes, Dana? Here's the summary of this article. Dana is desperate to defend the status quo because Dana gets rich from it. So Dana wrote a very lazy smear piece article that is ageist and just dull at every angle. Bernie's an old white guy. Wow, Dana, you think you're the first to come up with that one? You think you're the first to observe that? His posture's not outstanding because he's in his 70s. Wow, Dana. Wow. And here's a couple quotes from what he actually said. I'm going to put in quotes. He said we cater to the billionaire class. He says stuff that he said time and time again, and he's right. And that's why people like him, Dana. That's why he got a big applause. Because people actually wanted to hear ideas. They weren't worried about his waistline or how good his posture was or wasn't. They wanted to hear ideas, Dana. That's why everybody else had a big response for him, except for you. Because you like the status quo the way it is. You want to pretend there's nothing wrong. Well, there is something wrong, and part of the reason it's as wrong as it is because of establishment shills like you. The fact that you would write this article and send it in and say, okay, I'm doing good work, is sad. That's sad. People call me a journalist. I don't consider myself one. I'm not a journalist. I have no desire to become one. But that sure as hell isn't much of a bar in the United States. And the sad part is, there are some fantastic journalists in this country. There are some fantastic journalists in the United States. You got to dig for them, but they're out there. And they don't work at places like the Washington Post typically. I mean, occasionally corporate media has some diamonds in the rough. I'm not going to say they don't, but you really got to dig for those diamonds. And what you hear more about is garbage like this. And this piece is garbage. It is nothing short of complete garbage. Bernie's not a perfect candidate. There are real criticisms to be had about him. Tulsi's not a perfect candidate. There are real criticisms to be had about her. But all you're going to see in the corporate media are just straight up smear pieces, which is what this was. And they keep somehow getting worse. Because when you just rehash the same tired ideas, Bernie's an old white guy. He's from New York. Gee, that's not catching on. People still love him. Where do we got to go next? His posture's not great. He slouches a little bit. I saw him messing with his pants. I saw him fixing a sock. Did he clear his throat, Dana? Did he do that? Did he cough at any point, Dana? His hair's not reserved enough for you, Dana. Wow. You're doing a disservice to journalism, Dana. That's what you're doing. What a garbage smear piece. That might have been the worst one I've seen so far. And we've covered a lot of them already. That might have been the worst one I've seen so far. That's saying a lot. By the way, before we get on to the next story, Nico responded, because it's so damn expensive, LOL. Do you think he actually LOL'd when he did that? I don't think he did. I highly doubt. You think he LOL'd? Maybe he did. He likes to laugh, that guy. Maybe he actually did. But you think he was just like, because it's so damn expensive. Ha! 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 Maybe he did. I don't know. I don't think he actually did. But according to his text message, which I'm going to call fake news, he said, it's so damn expensive, LOL. And then he said, it's actually cheaper to commute back and forth twice a month than to actually live here, LOL. There's no way he LOL'd twice. He wrote LOL in 2 text message. There's no way he LOL'd twice. There's no way he texted me and was like, because it's so damn expensive. You know, it's cheaper to commute twice a month. Oh, cross-country plane rides, they're a riot. He didn't LOL twice. There's no way he LOL'd twice. Nico didn't LOL twice. Somebody tweet that out. That'll be the trend for today. I doubt that, too. Cheaper to fly back and forth across country twice a month than to... It's not like Nico lives in, like, somewhere crazy cheap. He lives in Miami. Like, it's not like Nico lives in, like... You know, I mean, what's the cheapest place in the country? Like, I don't even. That's a good question, actually. What is the cheapest? Well, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. That's a pretty. Pittsburgh's one of the cheapest major cities, or at least it was. Out of Columbus, Ohio. I bet Columbus, Ohio, is the cheapest major city. And I guess when I say major city, I basically mean like a skyline. I bet Columbus, Ohio, is the cheapest. I don't have anything to back that up. I'm just speculating on my own travels. I bet Columbus is probably the cheapest. He doesn't live there, is my point. He lives in Miami, Florida. I highly doubt flying across country twice a month is cheaper than the difference in rent he would spend if he lived here. And I know some day-to-day stuff is, but it's not like Miami's crazy cheap. So anyway, I don't think what he's saying is actually true, unless he has some type of perk I don't know about, like if he flies for free all the time or something. But not only that, but there's no way he LOL'd twice. So there's the update there. All right, we're going to switch gears here, and we got a couple more things to cover before I go to you guys, and we chat it up. And we'll see if we have any breaking news on the net neutrality thing here shortly. So here's something interesting. Progressive leader confronts Pelosi aide over Medicare for all. Congressional Progressive Caucus co-chair Pramila Jayapal. Wow, say that sentence. I mean, that's not an easy... Congressional Progressive Caucus co-chair Pramila Jayapal. That was not meant, and I screwed it up. Dude, that sentence. Holy fuck. All right. So anyway, you guys get the idea. You can see it. On Tuesday, confronted a top aide to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, expressing frustration over his private dismissals of Medicare for All legislation. Jayapal, a lead author of the plan H.R. 1384, told Wendell Primus, who served as Pelosi's senior health policy advisor, that she did not appreciate what she perceived as his efforts to undermine lawmakers' bills. Jayapal pressed him to explain reports that he made disdainful remarks about the proposal in separate meetings with health policy researchers and insurance executives. What do you want him to explain, though? I think that tells you everything you need to know. Insurance executives were there. So he crapped on Medicare for all. And it's nice to know something we already knew, but that Nancy Pelosi's health policy advisor rubs elbows with the insurance industry. And that's who he caters to. And that's who he reports to. And that's his circle. Not the people. That's why Nancy Pelosi's against Medicare for all. All right, so I made it clear I was not happy, says Jayapal. Pelosi spokesperson on Monday disputed any suggestion that Primus sought one-sided analysis of single payer, adding no one has anything to fear from good faith research on Medicare for all. Okay. The Intercept previously reported that Primus told Blue Cross Blue Shield executives in December that House Democratic leadership would not endorse Medicare for all, listing objections including its costs and the difficulty of moving to a single-payer system. I'll say this. I'm glad that Jayapal did this. I think it's a good thing. Good move on her part. But we all know the answer to these questions. This isn't just colleagues disagreeing. This is Nancy Pelosi and her people are in bed with the insurance companies. So they're going to crap on Medicare for all. They're going to crap on single payer to the insurance companies. And if they're a little more diplomatic publicly, well, that's because, as Hillary Clinton coined it, they got a public position and a private one. And that private position is the one that gets all the decisions. So, good on JPL doing this, but let's not pretend we don't know what this really is. This isn't colleagues disagreeing. This is corruption versus a better tomorrow. And I think that the few progressives that we have in Congress need to start shouting that. And that's not an easy position to be in because these are their colleagues. These are their colleagues whether they like it or not. That's the job that they have. Their job is to work with these colleagues who are corrupt. So it's not an easy situation to be in, nor is it a desirable one. But if we keep pretending this is just policy disagreements, then things are never going to change. This isn't policy disagreement. This is corruption versus not corruption. All right. So we're moving on to movements and other things. Movements and other things. We're going to end with a fun one, and then we're going to talk about if there's anything breaking here. And then that's how we're going to end the show. Semi-naked climate protesters disrupt Brexit debate. Activists spent almost 20 minutes with their hands glued to the public gallery and buttocks facing the chamber. One dude is facing the chamber from the front. Check out that guy. He's looking at them in the eye. Well, he has pants on. That'd be a little rough if he didn't even have pants on. This dude, it looks like he's in a banana thong thing, so I guess that's pretty much his bare butt facing them. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be great? Just to sit in some like congressional hearing or something like that with your ass against the glass. I would love that. I would love every second of that. Just sitting there. I wouldn't want my ass though. I'm too self-conscious. I'd want to just be able to sit there like this the entire time. They walk through, I'm just like, yeah, right here, right here, right here. Actually, there'd be a where I'd be like, you're cool. But the rest of you, you're okay. The rest of you, be like, what's that scene from that movie where it's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you. What's that? Damn it, that's such a... someone will say it in the chat. You know what I'm thinking of. That's like a legendary movie moment. I'm not, it's not coming to me where that's from, but it'll be in the chat later. I have confidence. All right. So what are they doing here? Semi-naked climate change protesters interrupted a House of Commons Brexit debate and glued their hands to the face of the public gallery, spending almost 20 minutes with their buttocks facing the chamber. MPs attempted to continue the debate during the peaceful protest by 11 activists from Extinction Rebellion, though several made coded mentions to the protests in their speeches. It'd be a lot easier for me to speak if there weren't a bunch of asses up in my face. I don't want asses in my face right now. That's what I pay a lot of money for in my bedroom after this. I mean, oh shit, did I say that on a hot mic? Son of a bitch. All right. Police cleared the public gallery. All right, protesters had made slogans up on their chests, including For All Life and SOS, and two more wore gray body paint and elephant masks. which the group said referred to climate change as the elephant in the room. I like that. Police cleared the public gallery in the House Commons, and then they removed the protesters individually, some of whom were carried out by officers. Yeah, some just went limp, and they were like, you gotta carry me. You gotta carry me. You gotta touch my ass to get me out of here. Carry me. All right. The protests began during a speech by the later Labour MP Peter Kyle, who was arguing in favor of his motion to add a confirmatory Brexit referendum. The Tory MP Justine Greening congratulated Kyle for fleshing out his arguments very well indeed. That's a little Freudian thing. A bunch of scantily clad folks up above, and you're like, thanks for fleshing this out. All right. Kyle in turn thanked the Conservative MP Steve Brine for a cheeky intervention. All right, that's funny. Good for them. That's pretty funny. Good for them. Oh, and keep in mind the Tories, by the way, to the left of the Democratic Party on a lot of issues. Their right-wing party, UK's right-wing party, to the left of our left-wing party, by the way. Just don't forget about that. Tories, not on every issue, but on many issues, to the left of the friggin' Democratic Party. And we're supposed to vote for one of these two repulsive choices in the United States. Anyway. All right, let's see if there's more to this. In a statement after the protest, one of the activists, Mark Ovlin, said climate change was being flagrantly and recklessly ignored by our government and media, and the group wanted to draw attention to the crisis during the debate on Brexit. By undressing in Parliament, we are putting ourselves in an incredibly vulnerable position, highlighting the vulnerability that all of us share in the face of environmental and societal breakdown, he said. Another of the activists, Iggy Fox, that is a cool fucking name, said, I'm tired of the time and resources our government wastes rearranging the deck chairs on the Brexit-tanic. It's high time politicians stop beating around the bush, another little innuendo there, and tackle the environmental crisis head on like they should have done years ago. I won't stop causing disruption until the government does its duty to protect people from disaster. I will wave these balls everywhere until we do something about climate change. You tired of looking at this ass? Do something about climate change. Good for Extinction Rebellion. And they're doing good things because it is necessary. We got to act on climate change now. We had to act yesterday. And time's a-wasting. All right. So, Joe wanted to share this. So, these are, a new study reveals the drugs that people like to mix with sex. All right, so people did a study on this. Joe wanted to share it. I guess this is the lifestyle portion of Get Your News On with Ron. Men and women across all sexual orientations are up for mixing drugs and sex, suggests the results of a new study out Tuesday. As part of a larger survey, it found that plenty of gay, bisexual, and heterosexual people admitting to having sex while on drugs, and some explicitly use drugs to enhance their sexual experiences. The researchers, hailing primarily from the UK, wow, this is a weird ad, isn't it? All right. Looked at data from the 2013 version of the Global Drug Survey, an annual poll of people's drug habits. Okay. For both men and women, it found the most commonly used drug mixed with sex was alcohol. Did they really need to do a research study on that? Roughly 60% of both genders said they drank before sex in the past. Cannabis was another popular choice, with slightly more than a third of men and about a quarter of women saying they used it before sex. Third was MDMA, or ecstasy, with around 15% of men and women having taken it before sex. Other drugs included ketamine, poppers, and sildenafil... Oh, Viagra. Yeah, we'll just go Viagra. There you have it. Booze. That's the most common. Cannabis, ecstasy. Basically goes from what is the most commonly accepted in society to, you know, pretty much the least. With the exception to Viagra. Although I have a feeling more people are using Viagra. They just don't want to admit to it. And why would you count Viagra? I mean, I guess technically that counts, but I don't know. Cool, interesting study. I don't think there's anything surprising about it, but interesting study nonetheless. Me personally, I'm fine with drug-free sex. I'm totally that's something I enjoy very much. Sex, and I don't feel that it needs to be altered at all. I think it's pretty spectacular the way it is. Some things it's like, wow, we just got this one right. This just sort of really works out. Sex is one of those things that I feel that way about. I'm just like, oh, this is pretty great. I don't think it needs much of anything. I mean, you can use other things to enhance the sexual experience, but for me, drugs, not necessary. Yeah, not necessary. I don't know. I guess I'm old-fashioned. Maybe. Who knows? Let me see what you guys are saying. This was an interesting show, huh? All right. Sex is fine, but great with drugs, too, says Zero Divisor. Let's see. Nicotine. Not me. I'm not, no. I don't. I'll be honest, I'm a non-smoker. Whenever I've dated smokers in the past, it has been difficult to deal with, because then it gets on your pillows and stuff, and you're not into it. And sorry, I'm not trying to come down on any smokers, but sorry. Secular S likes LSD better than ecstasy. Let's see. Maybe most people don't want to remember the experience. All right, then, I mean, okay. Why are you having sex then? Karen Mitchell. Oh, Project Redfoot got way too drunk last night. We've all been there. Thank you for making the show. Paint huffers. Ugh, don't do that. You know what? One time, I've never huffed paint before, and the reason I never have, well, I never really had the desire to, but also, like, I had a teacher once in high school that explained to us what really happens when you do that. And after he did that, I never had a desire to ever try that. Like, he described what really goes on, like how the paint kind of like gets in your system, and not my thing. Not my thing. Andrew says Ron's drug of choice is love. That's, you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. All right. I don't want this to turn into a drug conversation. Let's see here. Let me see if there's anything in regards to the net neutrality thing, and then we'll dismount for the day. I appreciate you all. I'm not seeing it. Oh, was it from Half Baked? Was that the fuck you, you're cool? That was from Half Baked? Is that what someone said? Yeah, Half Baked. Okay. Thank you. I'm seeing that. Alright. So I don't think they've finished the net neutrality thing yet. We will have an update on that tomorrow. So tomorrow we should know everything. So we'll know everything later today. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. And, and send me more stuff for tomorrow, too. We're out of time today. You guys are awesome. First of all, tour dates. I got them. Texas, get your tickets. Don't wait. Texas, get your tickets. Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, Austin. Graham Elwood and I are coming April 12th through 15th. We're going to be there. Do it. Texas, May, we're coming to Salt Lake City and Boise. Get those tickets, ronplacone.com. Also, May, I will be doing a solo show in Indianapolis. May 1st, Indianapolis, ronplacone.com for tickets. April 19th, doing my first house show of the year in Boulder Creek, California. Come on out to Boulder Creek if you're in the area, of course. And June, we're doing the East Coast. New Haven, Connecticut, New York City, Baltimore, D.C., Philly, Boston. We're coming. Get tickets at ronplacone.com. And finally, July 27th, we're coming back to Vegas, baby. Vegas, we're coming back. We'll see you there. Las Vegas. If If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You get all kinds of exclusive perks and content, and you help keep this show on the air. You help me do more streams. You help me do longer streams. I want to build this show. I want it to continue growing. I do need help to do that. And if you can, please do like and share these streams. Like them, share them. That helps a lot. That makes a huge difference. You guys are awesome. I will give Lucy everybody's love. You'll see her tomorrow. I'll bring her on screen tomorrow to do a send-off for the week. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. This is me, Get Your News On with Ron. The news has been gotten.